probably share the same frustration with me when it comes to this part that I want to talk about in this video. And it really stems from, and like a lot of people call me the angry soccer guy. And I'm not angry, I'm frustrated. And I'm frustrated because my parents spent $82,593 just for me to play youth soccer. That's crazy. Like, that's a ridiculous amount of money. But fine, that we paid it. I have those scars, and I don't want you guys to have those same scars. So that's why, like, I have all these contents and resources for free to help you. And especially when, you know, your child has a goal like I did, where you want to get to the next level, and, you know, you want to have some support. And that's why all my, like I said, all my online content's free, so you can have support and structure to hopefully develop those aspects. But like the key to this is, and the whole reason for this is, like, I'm gonna be very honest and transparent with you guys real quick, and I think you'll like this. So, like, I'm one guy. I have one person that helps me, that's my wife, and, you know, she's the one that helps me, you know, get the content ready. She helps me post the content. I'm the one obviously doing the recording and whatnot. I have once or twice used an outside person. I'm not at the point yet where I want to do that consistently, but the point is, like, I'm producing all this stuff for you guys on my own or within my household, and I don't have billions of dollars, but, like, I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes I went through. And, like, you have leagues, clubs, cash cows, organizations, U.S. Soccer, your state associations. What have they done for you? Honestly, what have they done for you? And this is why people call me the angry soccer guy, when I'm really not angry, I'm just frustrated. Because it's like, you have all these organizations. Like, great example, down the street from where I live, 10 minutes, there's a cash cow. They generate over $2 million a year in revenue as a nonprofit. And I'm like, they could have put free resources for you. Of course, they're not going to do that, because they thrive on uneducated people who will pay them continuously for a product or a service that you're not getting anything for except for games. And the point of that is, like, clubs are not going to develop kids. It's not going to be a club, not going to be a badge. It's going to be a coach. Now, you might find a coach in a cash cow that wants to help develop kids. Like, it's actually funny. I've talked to a few guys that have sent me messages personally, and they're like, hey, I coach. I would love to say the same stuff that you do, but I can't because I want to protect my job. I respect that, bro. Like, you got bills to pay. I got bills to pay. Everybody's got bills to pay. And, you know, I think parents have to understand that the club, the league, the organization is not going to develop your kid. And who will be you as a player and parent, and then the coach. And, you know, I talked about this in the previous video. It's all about those three things: player, parent, and coach. If you have all three, you can be successful. It's hard, obviously, but you can be successful. That's why, like, my recommendation is you need to find somebody like myself that cares about doing the right thing for kids to even have a small shot, but small chance at getting to the next level. And most people are not developing. And, like, you look at the average club, you know, you can go look up their mission statements. You're going to see what they say. They don't say we're trying to develop the next generation of professional players. They'll say something along the lines of, we want to foster the growth of the game and provide kids an opportunity to play. That's what they're going to say. So if you see that from their mission statement, even though they have, you know, badge organizations or leagues, so the MLS Next, the NAL, the ECNL, they're not there to develop better players, but you might find one coach, again, in an organization that will. Now, what I have found personally, this is me personally, I'm not saying this is for everybody, but what I have found personally, the smaller organizations, like I have a smaller organization, we focus on development. And if I don't do that, because we're so small, like our organization, High Soccer Prospects, only has 8 teams. We're very small. But if we did not do the development part, we would be out of business. So people know when they come to High Soccer that their child will get better. You can't, you know, you won't get that guarantee from a cash cow or a big time organization, because they have tons of kids. They might have a curriculum, but the curriculum is not implemented. So that means it's a wash, essentially. And, like, great example. My brother got a job with a big club. I'm not gonna put the name out there, whatever. But me and him were talking about it. The organization that he works for has 12,000 kids. And, they probably have a curriculum, but I'm sure it's not implemented, it's not enforced because they're too big. You can't. And, and to be quite transparent, it's very hard. Like, we make a new team tomorrow. I have to go hire a coach. So when I go hire a coach, obviously I try and find the best fit, but like, we don't have a lot of time to train him or her. We do something very quickly. We explain to them our process and what we do and why, and then we got to put them on the field because you guys are paying for a coach. And that's what happens, honestly, on the day-to-day. Now, we try to do education consistently once a month where we're bringing people in or bringing our staff in to meet and conversate. I try and go out and watch practices and give feedback. But again, like, I'm one guy doing that. It's not an easy thing to replicate because it's not enough money coming in to be able to pay more people to do the same thing or to educate on a full-scale process. So it's not an easy thing to do. And so, like, I understand why the bigger clubs, they're just trying to fill teams. They bring coaches in, they don't throw a curriculum together, or if they do have one, they don't implement it, and they just say, hey, do the games, do the thing, train the teams. That's it. There might be a brief conversation about what they want to look for. But like I said before, and I said this in a different video, I'm going to reemphasize it here. When you go to these organizations, right, you got to understand, like, I am an owner, director, and coach. So as an owner, I want to revenue, typically, I'm saying a general owner, wants to revenue as much money as possible and generate as much margin and profit. That's normal. You're a business owner. You should want to do that. Okay. So they're going to tell their directors, hey, we need more kids on teams. This is how we make our money. So we need to maximize the number of kids per team. Take away coaches. So that way it's one coach for 20 kids as an example. That way they get the money up, the revenue aspect up, which means their expenses should go down having one coach for 20, 30 kids. And then they're going to tell the directors are going to tell the staff, hey guys, maximize the rosters, do what you need to do to win, keep parents happy, because if parents are happy, they're going to want to stay. And the average parent just wants to win. So because the average parent just wants to win, the coaches are going to be slamming balls, boot ball, kick ball, send ball, whatever word you want to use to describe it. That's the typical grassroots environment. And it's not going to go away and it's not going to change. But the point is, if that's how the structure is for most organizations, and I'll tell you guys the honest truth, like, I have a group that I work with as a board, and they always ask me, hey Kyle, you ready to cash cow it? And I'm like, no, I feel like I have an ethical premise that won't let me just cash cow it. Like, I have to try and develop, because when you go to a cash cow, what you're normally going to see, again, like I've talked about, is relatively high cost with little value. That typically means you're going to be just doing scrimmages. You're going to have 2 or 3 practices a week. You're just going to scrimmage. The kids are going to show up, maybe do a light warm-up, and 80-90% of the time they're just scrimmaging. And that's not to the benefit of development. I mean, do kids need to play? Yes. But that's not, they're not training. They're just playing. Now, if that's what you're looking for, that's okay. No problem with it, but don't expect to get something out of it in the long run when you're not getting the training. So those are little things to think about, man, because, if your goal at the end of the day is to get to the next level with your child, or your child has that goal, I should say, then you need to get him with a coach that will care about the development, because the average organization in this country is not trying to develop professional players. They're not trying to develop elite level players. They're just trying to provide kids a platform to play soccer. And by the way, just to be very clear, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's the goal of the kids, cool. I just think this needs to be very clearly discussed and let parents know, hey, we're just here to provide your kid an opportunity to play. They're not going to do that, though, because if they say that, they're going to lose 20, 30% of the membership whose kids, and sometimes it's led through the parent, they want to see their kid get to the next level. And they're just going to lose customers because they're not providing what the children want or what the parent wants. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. Half the time it's a parent that wants it more than the kid. And, those are things that need to change. And it's not going to change in the cash cow market because they just want money. So, like, again, when I have partners in the board that are saying, hey, Kyle, you ready? Because they know that to make more money, we just cash cow it. So we just focus on scrimmages. We do what we need to do versus pushing kids to get to the next level. And it's a constant losing battle, bro. Like, I can't lie to you guys. It's very hard. But we always try to put the kids first, whether, you know, parents agree or disagree, because parents just want to win. The average parent doesn't care. They just want to see their kid win. And to see their kid win, clubs are going to do what they need to do to win, which is slam balls down the field. It's just the name of the game. So hopefully that makes sense, man. I hope you guys, you know, find value from this. And if you do, I would greatly appreciate you sharing it. And I'll see you in the next video.